Hey there, TRASTRA fans. Welcome to episode 122 of your beloved newsreel. So if you're into crypto at all, you know that this weekend revolved around the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville. And the reason is that by general admission, it was the most political Bitcoin gathering in history. So political that Elon Musk removed all crypto-related emojis for some reason. I don't know. Nobody knows, actually. Two presidential candidates were there, Donald Trump, who headlined the event, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, and U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty from Tennessee, that's the home state of Nashville, Senator Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming, former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, and the only Democratic politician of the bunch, Congressman Rohana from California. So the list is so ironic because it's the best evidence of the rapid re-centralization of crypto disguised as the fight against the American financial oligarchy. It's actually funny how they managed to do it in one breath. Proclaim self-sovereignty and independence of the traditional financial institutions, and at the same time, the very next sentence, they propose create a strategic Bitcoin reserve held by the Fed, the Federal Reserve, that is. That's a Cynthia Lummis's idea. Or RFK Jr. suggesting that Treasury purchases 550 Bitcoin daily until the reserve accumulates at least 4 million Bitcoins, which is understandable because, according to his own admission, almost all of his personal wealth is in Bitcoin, so it's, kind of goes without saying. So, and I'm not even touching Trump, who compared Bitcoin with the steel industry 100 years ago and promised to fire Gary Gensler on the very first day in office. He's actually done it twice because he got so much applause for the first time he did it. He just didn't want to miss a chance to get the same amount of applause for the second time. It's crazy. I mean, here's one other item I consider highly ironic. The basic ticket package to dabble in the esteemed practice of Bitcoining at the conference started at $700. That's just to enter the venue, the Music City Center in South Nashville. An industry pass was priced at $4,000, which included additional networking opportunities and access to more content and stages. The most expensive option was the VIP Whale Pass ticket, priced at $21,000 per person. This included access to VIP lounges, all-inclusive food and beverage service, and after-party pass and exclusive panels. There were also a fundraising reception for Donald Trump's presidential campaign priced at $844,000 per person, the maximum amount an individual donation in Trump's PAC allowable. So a photo op and reception with Trump was offered at $60,000 per person or $100,000 per couple. And Donald Trump Jr. hosted a meet and greet event priced at $3,000 per person or $5,000 per couple. So that basically tells you something about the new financial elites having no intention of dismantling class divisions. I mean, quite the opposite. The techies have seized their golden ticket to join the 1%, and they're clutching it with both hands. They had no interest in Satoshi's white paper with its lofty ideal of free peer-to-peer value transfer over the internet. I mean, their sole focus is profit. It's clear to me by now. Profit, so next time you hear them preach self-sovereignty and independence and all that jazz, just check the price tag on their VIP passes and fundraising dinner. Anyway, so Bitcoin Magazine has done a tremendous job covering the event. Be sure to check their Twitter feed if you want to hear more about Bitcoin 2024. In the meantime, welcome to episode 122 of your beloved TRASTRA Newsreel. Here's something you won't hear much about at Bitcoin gatherings. Plaintiffs have filed an amended complaint against Tether and Bitfinex. In a years-long class action lawsuit, they accused the companies of manipulating crypto prices through a scheme involving USDT. The amended complaint was filed in the Southern District of New York, alleging a fraudulent inflation of cryptocurrency prices, including Bitcoin. The plaintiffs claim that Tether and Bitfinex executed a sophisticated scheme to inflate the price of cryptocurrencies fraudulently, end quote. According to the complaint, the companies made massive, carefully timed purchases to signal high demand, causing price spikes. The complaint alleges this activity misled the market and artificially inflated prices. Well, tell me something I didn't know. BlackRock, whose digital asset head honcho Robert Mitchnick also spoke at Bitcoin 2024, but the crowd wasn't too thrilled about BlackRock being present there for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, BlackRock's ETF notched its biggest day of inflows in over 4 months, with over $523 million in inflows on July 23rd. This brought the total assets under management for IBIT, that's the name of the ETF, to 330,000 Bitcoins, worth about $22 billion at the current rate. It makes the 7th largest day of record for inflows into IBIT in US dollars. IBIT witnessed its largest single day of inflows on March 18th when 849 million worth of Bitcoin was added to the fund. The second largest day on record occurred on March 5th. When the fund saw $788 million in inflows, according to Farsight Investors data. ETFs posted net inflows of $106 million on their first day of trading, despite massive outflows from Grayscale's freshly converted Ethereum Trust. BlackRock's iShares Ethereum Trust ETF led the pack with $266.5 million in inflows. The Fidelity Ethereum Fund ETF came in third with $71.3 million. The inflows to the newly conceived spot Ether ETFs were enough to overcome bleeding from the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, which saw outflows of $484.9 million on that day, amounting to 5% of the once $9 billion fund. Or as Donald Trump would put it, sad. Visa said last Tuesday that its fiscal third quarter profits rose 9% on an adjusted basis. The San Francisco-based company said it earned $4.87 billion, or $2.40 a share, compared to a profit of $4.16 billion, or $2 a share in the same period a year earlier. Visa processed $3.325 trillion in transactions on the network during the quarter, up 7.4% from a year earlier. Much of the payment growth came from Europe and Latin America, but US payments grew by 5.1%, which is faster than US economic growth. Some food for thought there. Just in a research paper published on July 19th, Toyota, we all know Toyota, proposed implementing blockchain technology as part of its mobility concept. It sees blockchain as enabling automation through programmability, much like how smart contracts on Ethereum automatically execute agreements without intermediaries. Blockchain would also bring a standardized interface that connects to other services. For example, in the automotive industry, blockchain could facilitate automated payments for tolls or parking fees directly from the vehicle's wallet. I'm not sure why we need blockchain for that. I mean, there's just tons of gizmos out there that can do that for you right now with no blockchain involved, but what do I know? The University of Wyoming, the state widely considered the most crypto-friendly in the union, is set to launch the Bitcoin Research Institute in August, making a significant step forward in academic research on Bitcoin. Led by Dr. Bradley Rattler, the institute aims to provide high-quality, peer-reviewed studies about Bitcoin and contribute to the curriculum in philosophy, economics, and interdisciplinary courses. This initiative is seen as a groundbreaking effort to advance Bitcoin research and educate the public on its complexities, ensuring informed decision-making. There's just so much of that stuff already online. I don't know why we need another university, but again, what do I know? Revolut, the London-based fintech company, finally secured a banking license in the United Kingdom after a protracted 3-year regulatory approval process. This milestone, announced on July 25th, strengthens and solidifies its position in the home market. The UK's Prudential Regulation Authority granted the license with certain restrictions, allowing Revolut to gradually build out its banking operations before a full-scale launch. Meanwhile, Coinbase has been fined $4.5 million by the UK regulator for serving high-risk customers. The fine, announced on Thursday, July 25th by the Financial Conduct Authority, was levied against a subsidiary of the cryptocurrency exchange, CB Payments Limited, CBPL, which the FCA says repeatedly violated a requirement preventing the company from doing business with high-risk clients. Don't they all do a whole lot of business with high-risk clients? There's this new scam going around, so I thought I'd warn you. Scammers have already stolen $300,000 worth of crypto using fake Zoom links. The way it works is scammers ask if you would be interested in licensing your intellectual property, inviting you to Twitter Spaces, or asking you to join a team for a project. The scammers will insist on using Zoom and hurry you to join a meeting in progress using a hard-to-notice malicious link. Once the link is clicked, you will be met with a stuck page showing an infinite loading screen. The page will then prompt the user to download and install Zoom Installer Full X, the execution file, which is malware that adds itself to the Windows Defender exclusion list to prevent antivirus systems from blocking it. So once installed, the page will redirect back to the official Zoom platform, but by then it's already too late. I mean, the user will believe that it's already worked. The malware by then has already infiltrated the target computer and stolen the data and loot, so just be careful. That's all I'm asking. And finally, hooray! We've been waiting for this joyous news for ages. And now it's finally here. Finally, folks, Ferrari will extend its provision for cryptocurrency payments to Europe by the end of July. So I guess tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, you'll be able to find a Ferrari, buy a Ferrari in Europe for Bitcoins or whatever, for crypto. That's the report by Reuters on Wednesday. Ferrari began accepting crypto in the US last October in partnership with BitPay. Bitcoin, ETH, and USDC were the tokens accepted. I'm not sure, it doesn't say in the report which coins are there this time, but I mean, these three are just fine. Ferrari is now extending the program to Europe to support dealers in better addressing the evolving needs of its clients, Reuters said, citing a company statement. The company plans to extend the service to other markets by the end of 2024. So if you have a few Bitcoins lying around and you need a new car, the path is clear. I love it when they just bring up other clients. They want to support dealers in servicing other clients. So they want to be able to sell a Ferrari to just about any scum on earth. Anyway, money doesn't smell, as Titus Vespasian used to say. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch our shorts on TikTok, hit all the right buttons below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.